So it's right around 11 a.m. on today's Monday, May 26, 2025. I have been trying to sleep all morning. I didn't go to sleep until close to 4 a.m. I spent most of the night watching some fun movies and enjoying my dinner delivery from last night. But the fire alarm in this building, somebody pulled it approximately an hour ago, and it went on for 30 minutes. It took forever for the fire department to come here. I didn't leave my unit. I didn't even move from my bed. I was lying here, literally still sleeping with the fire alarm going off. And there's a very severely disturbed piece of low life trash directly below in 76 who did not leave their unit either while the fire alarm was going off throughout the building. And they kept making repeated violent slamming and banging noises directly beneath my bed. They were hitting the wall directly beneath this bed with some kind of a heavy object repeatedly. At first, I thought it was the fire department, and I realized, no, it's just a fat piece of shit, Jasmine Irizarry, who is being permitted by the Greenville Group to intermittently access Unit 78 located behind this wall and also Unit 76 directly below on an ongoing basis for the sole purposes of harassment. The same person who was repeatedly violently slamming something directly below my bed approximately 40 minutes ago while the fire alarm was going off throughout the building was also slamming things below my bed at 1 o'clock in the morning last night and at 3 o'clock in the morning when I was trying to use my bathroom, and then came back to my bed to lie on it after using quietly the facilities in my private bathroom. I keep reporting that same piece of shit likes to violently slam things directly below my bed or then sometimes directly below my toilet, depending on what I happen to do in the privacy of this living space, because what we're dealing with here is a BLM activist situation where the crooked criminal Russian slumlord, for some strange reason, has decided to be a big supporter of BLM and crams large numbers of BLM sex offenders, psychopaths, pedophiles, and career criminals into this building in large numbers. If you look at the racial the racial makeup of this building, it's all BLM. There's no other ethnic group living in this building in large numbers besides BLM. And I'm not talking about African Americans, I'm talking about BLM. There's a huge difference. BLM are a radical, Marxist, anti-American, communist, fringe activist group that do not do anything to help African Americans. They do not elevate the Black community. They simply spend millions of donation dollars on strippers and hookers, as very well documented and accurately reported by Candace Owens, who herself is Black. But like most intelligent people, she can't stand BLM, and neither can Amazon, because Amazon deplatformed BLM from their donation platform years ago for embezzling millions of donor dollars. So what we have in this building are a bunch of career criminals like Jasmine Irizarry, who is also a sex offender, Charles Thomas, a career criminal who's also a sex offender, Wender Rodriguez, a severely disturbed career criminal, not sure if he's a sex offender. We have Michael Collins, a career criminal who's a sex offender, Mark Collins, a sex offender, Jason DaCosta, a sick and twisted pedophile sex offender, and they all claim to be BLM activists, and these are all people who have physically threatened me, physically assaulted me, tried to physically assault me, threatened to kill me. Jasmine Irizarry has made repeated comments on social media about how she's using a directed energy weapon that she's aiming at my head, and she's getting paid $300,000 to use this weapon, and that she has it mounted on a tripod. Charles Thomas was taken to court and arrested by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for threatening to kill me when he followed me into the Greenville Group's office in August of 2021 and kept screaming and shouting that somebody needs to make this crazy bitch go away when I had not said a single word to him at all. I don't speak or interact with any of these low-life scumbags who are career thugs, low-life trash, sex offenders, wife beaters, and people who are so mentally disturbed they just sit around all day screaming and shouting on the street corners and blasting music from their cars that they sit in for hours at a time. So right now, while I'm lying here, I have not left my bed all morning. I don't know what the fire alarm thing was about. These low-life pieces of scum are screaming and shouting out on the street directly below these windows and blasting music. There's also that sick piece of shit, Irizarry, who keeps making slamming and banging noises directly beneath my bed and was violently slamming things around repeatedly for 20 minutes while the fire alarm was going off at the same time, which means that she never left her unit either. And maybe she's the one who pulled the fire alarm. I am legally blind. I don't even know where the closest fire alarm is. And I was certainly too tired to move and leave my bed unless I started actively smelling smoke or feeling heat. And of course, there was no smoke and there was no heat because Irizarry, I suspect, is the one who pulled the fire alarm. She's a sick and twisted, severely disturbed, obsessive psychopath, medically diagnosed. I was in the Shattuck Hospital as a clinical PhD level intern back in 2006 when Jasmine Irizarry was a inmate being treated for her psychiatric issues at the Shattuck Hospital. And she was even back then severely sick and twisted and was compulsively vomiting on staff and patients to try to contaminate them with the HIV virus that she verifiably medically carries. And now she lives in this building. She didn't go far in life, did she? In spite of claiming that she's getting paid $300,000 to aim a directed energy weapon at my head, which is exactly what was going on last night. While I was lying on my bed watching a movie, she was concurrently using a directed energy device to electronically assault me while I was lying on this bed watching my movies. And then when I would do anything on this bed that was personal, private, like picking my wedgie or scratching my armpits, picking my nose, just doing anything that you might happen to do if you're just lying there watching a movie, she would slam things directly below this bed. And then at 3:30 in the morning, when I tried to go into my bathroom to use it, there was also sudden violent slamming and banging from 76. I suspect that that's Irizarry and that she's being permitted by the Greenville group to go back and forth between 76 and 78, which is located behind my kitchen sink, where there's often tremendous amounts of sickening smoke, marijuana smoke, cigar smoke, all kinds of smoke that come from behind that wall that do not ever come from the hallway. And that is Irizarry because she has been doing this for 11 years now. So the sickening, sudden amounts of overpowering smoke and fumes that come from the bathroom with 78 that immediately fill my kitchen area or my bathroom if I'm trying to shower in my bathroom or use the facilities are the signature behavioral thumbprint of the psychopath, Jasmine Irizarry, who has claimed to be a BLM activist, who is being repeatedly praised by Oleg Alexeyev, her sponsor at the Greenville Group, to engage in constant surveillance-based aggressive harassment, stalking, and harm. And that is why she becomes violent and aggressive only when I do certain things in the privacy of this living space that I might want to keep private, such as using my toilet, taking a shower, lying on my bed, scratching my armpits, picking my nose, etc. She only becomes violent and aggressive when I do anything that might be considered personal and private that I might not want the rest of the general population to know about, like picking my nose, right? I don't actually pick my nose, but sometimes I pick my wedgie. That's when she goes to town and starts slamming and banging things directly below this bed. Or when I use my toilet and she's in the bathroom of 78, she likes to slam things directly behind the wall of my toilet as I'm quietly sitting on it. These are pieces of shit who brag about what they're doing. They make constant written comments on my social media pages. They tell me that they're going to contact my employers, find out where I work, and get me fired. They're constantly threatening to do things that they actually do end up doing. And right now, the pieces of low-life BLM, perving, creeping, hate stalking, rejected shit are sitting in that one large silver SUV that's constantly parked below my windows. That SUV never moves because it's a BLM, perving, creeping, hate stalking, sex offender, whack-off mobile. They just sit in there for hours screaming and shouting, blasting music, perving and creeping. They shout things at women who happen to walk by. I mean, I'm one of them. I would know. And nobody does anything about that. And they're constantly disrupting the neighborhood because they're angry, miserable pieces of shit who have nothing going on and they claim to be BLM activists. They're just embarrassing themselves. Upstanding, successful African-American men do not need BLM to get to where they are. Barack Obama did not get elected as president of the United States thanks to BLM. BLM did not do anything to help Barack Obama. BLM did not do anything to help Michael Jordan be a massive superstar in the 80s and 90s. BLM didn't do anything to help Denzel Washington become one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood. BLM didn't do anything to help Eddie Murphy become one of the highest paid actors and comedians in Hollywood. So BLM are a fucking joke. They're bottom-feeding, low-life ghetto shit. They can't leave women alone. They have a problem with me because I refuse to be their special friend. They don't see